Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Fast Leadership Podcast with Arno and Gordon, where we look to take the rocket science out of leadership and make it accessible to everybody.
People can be dreamers, but they don't put up the work to make their dreams come true.
Yeah.
So I'm surrounded by some people who really want to get results, really want to work, but they don't do what they need to achieve those results. I myself sometimes think that I want to achieve that, but then I stay on the couch and do nothing about it. It happens to everybody, I guess, but we're not here to be, lazy or stay dreamers sitting on the couch. We're here to give you guys tips to be a great leader. So how do you quit the couch, get up, and do stuff?
Yeah. So one of my favorite sayings is from a good friend of mine, Mark McGregor, who's a leadership expert, and one of the things that he says, to know and not do is the same as not knowing. So if we know what we need to do, then we need to, it's action that deliver words. And we were just talking about the importance of vision, but if the vision doesn't motivate you to or inspire you to take action, then you're not gonna progress one iota towards the dial. And leadership, again, as we were talking before we came on out, for me, leadership is the difference between success and failure. And as leaders, we have to paint that vision, but then we have to precipitate action. And I think one of the ways we do that is by giving people the approach to do it, something that they can believe in. And if people want to do the goal and they believe in the approach, then they will move forward. If they want to do it and it's a great vision, but they don't believe in the approach, then they're either not going to start or they're going to quit at the first sign of trouble. So for me, leaders, it's all about showing the way, showing people.
Yeah. So for me, I can have a vision, but sometimes I'll ask myself, well, I don't know how to do it. And as my own leader, I try to put myself on the road. Let's try something. Let's find out a little piece of information about it, and then because one thing leads to another. Sometimes it starts the road, and then I can have a strategy. Then I can work on that, keeping the ball rolling. If I'm absolutely 100% lost, I will start very small and then move to the goal and reframe the strategy along the way at some point. But if I'm not lost here, and if I know how to start, sometimes I can be. What is it? Is it laziness? Is it
procrastination?
What?
Procrastination.
Yeah, but why?
So a lot of people think procrastination's bad, and it has some negative connotations, but we need to understand why we procrastinate.
Exactly.
If we procrastinate because we're looking at it going, I don't think that's going to work, then I would say that's good procrastination, because it's stopping us taking on something that we actually think is going to fail.
And then you don't spoil your energy into something that's going to fail. Yeah.
I know it will work, I just can't be bothered. Then that's bad procrastination. And we need to understand the difference between the two. And a lot of times for me, the procrastination comes from I keep looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm not sure that's the way forward. And I just need to get a better approach to do it. And one of the things, for a lot of us, because we work with experts ourselves, or we've hired people that can do the job, even if we don't know, what we should do is we should ask the people that we're coaching, do they know how to do it? Give them the opportunity to speak up. And a lot of times they might, and I've worked with people that said, I don't know. And sometimes that is they just don't want to say, or it could be that they're thinking about certain restrictions. And then this is where coaching comes in. And we have to say, one of my favorite, I think we've talked about this before, one of my favorite coaching questions of all time is if you did know, what would the answer be? So when somebody says, I don't know, and you say, but if I did know, what would the answer be? That can help break down barriers. Do you know why that's such a good question?
Well, I can imagine if you were to ask me that as an expert, I would put myself in the position of, yeah, maybe I do know, and my brain will find not full answers, but pieces of answers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pattern interrupt. So while I'm asking you, you're thinking, I don't know. But when I say, but if you did know, what would the answer be? It's kind of like, what? And it allows you to say something before the doubt comes in and beats that
Yeah.
answer to death. And we just, we've got to let our teams have that opportunity, or just tell them, if we had unlimited resources, how could we do it? And then what you'll find is people will say, oh, well, I was thinking of this, but we don't have X or Y. Yeah, but we could go get that. Oh, I didn't know. So there's some artificial limits that might be stopping people from saying this is the way forward. We have to unconstrain and move ourselves. Now, if you don't know and they don't know, there's somebody else you can ask. I finally found somebody more intelligent than you that I can ask 24/7. ChatGPT.
Of course. Yeah.
So you can always go in and ask AI, what would be a strategy for this? And you can brainstorm with it. It's not always going to get, ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. It's not just about, write me an article or create this. It can be an ideas sounding board. And you can ask it for hints and tips, and that might give you a plan you believe in.
Yeah. 10 years ago, I would go with Google and Wikipedia and get the same kind of approach, just a starting point. And now ChatGPT really helps me to kind of sort of blend my ideas and brainstorm my ideas. And the very first thing that I will ask ChatGPT is, here's my problem. Please ask me all the questions you have about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the guy answering those questions, I will move forward and I will learn from myself.
Yeah.
And it's a very fun process, actually, because you at the end of that process, you're like, well, I had the answers in me. I just need some time and some brainstorming and some action to get those answers out of myself. Yeah,
sure. We our brains are powerful, but we let it be driven by negativity. If we open the door to negativity, it shuts down creativity. I mean, one other thing I would say is that you had a degree in PhD in astrophysics. I did a degree in mathematics. The most important thing I learned in my degree in mathematics has nothing to do with mathematics.
Same for me, absolutely.
We did a workshop exercise where we had to research and find a solution to a problem. And what that taught me was there are very few problems to which we don't already have the solution. The reality is I just don't know what that solution is. So a lot of times, finding a solution is not about creating it, it's finding the solution that exists. So with tools like ChatGPT, you can ask it, is there a solution for this? Or, and this is one of my favorite tools, is there a different problem which has similar challenges where there is a solution, where that solution might apply here or could be tailored here?
Right.
And then you're stealing an answer from a different problem, and how do you convert your problem into that? So those are great tools. So I think we need to Yeah, it's all about creating that confidence, and our procrastination is sometimes an indication of a lack of confidence in the proposed solution.
But I want to talk about the special kind of population who has pro- big, huge procrastination problems, but at the same time, they're so capable of doing what you said, to
Yeah,
bring solution out of the box from a different angle, from a different problem, and put the pieces together. And it's people with ADHD,
yeah.
because they are master procrastinators. They can't start because they don't have the dopamine to start a task.
But they also have intense focus.
Right.
If they lock onto it, they will.
Exactly. Yeah, and they will find an amazing, good quality, really cheap solution to any problem, but they need to start. And as leaders, I work with people who have ADHD, and as a leader of them, my job is to make them, start
Yeah,
and put on their shoes and get on the road and just to start, and then you watch them and it's
yeah.
beautiful because they come up with fantastic solutions, but it's really hard for them as well, to start a task. Yeah.
So leadership is a lot about getting people out of overwhelm.
Hmm.
Giving them that first step, and I think we might have talked about this before. I don't remember, but when I did my TED talk in Belfort in French, one of the stories that I told, and this was something that came to me, and it was a mother told her daughter, and she shared that with me, that if they have a banquet or a big dinner party, when they start the cleaning up the following day, you absolutely have to start with the forks. And I was like, okay. And why the forks? And she said, it gives you a point of departure.
Yeah.
It's something that you can just go and do. Because if you look at the whole mess, you'll be like, oh my God, where do I start? And for them, the answer was the forks. Now, you could have picked anything, but it's just that if you start with something, now you're in progress. And once you're in progress, it's easier to become in progress with something else. Whereas if you're in overwhelm and you don't know where to start,
You're just stuck.
that's right. You're just stuck, and you just
Yeah.
do I start here? Do I start with this? Do I start with that? But when you've started, so sometimes as leaders, we just need to just give people, well, start with this.
Yeah.
You start by writing down why you think it won't work. Start by writing down what's the craziest approach we could take. Start
Hmm.
thinking with that and get people, thinking and moving towards the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Even if you discard the very first solution, it doesn't matter because you get the ideas and people in motion, and that's what's important. Do you know what's the strongest thing in the universe? I'm talking about astrophysics again. Sorry about that. But do you know what it is? It is gravity. It is inertia. It is the fact that things don't want to move.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is literally the strongest in the universe.
yeah,
As leaders, yeah, I believe we have to fight against that and get on our boxing gloves and
yeah.
and fight just
Leadership is about killing inertia,
exactly. Yeah.
getting people moving. One step's enough. And I always remember, and again, I'm sure we've mentioned it before. We're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. They didn't know how they were going to do that because a lot of the technology and mathematics didn't exist. But you've got to take that first step. Sometimes you find the path on the journey.
Exactly. Yeah.
So figure out the right direction, take that first step, and give it a go.
Yeah. Just give it a go. Just try.
And I saw some statistics the other day as well. When we're thinking about what we want to try and do, I think it's, if you pick one thing to do, you're 75% more likely to succeed. If you pick two things to try, your probability drops down 35%. And if you try and do three things, your probability of success drops down to 8%. So just pick one thing and move forward with that. You can pick up other things as you go, but what we're talking about is getting into motion, out of inertia, into action, and start making progress.
I guess we can say to leaders all over the world, you get vision, that's great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. You want to achieve that vision, start. Just
Yeah.
the hardest part might be to start.
Yeah.
You do start, then things will fall down, and you'll get your teams engaged and help them starting as well, and kill the inertia.
And if you if we think about, I just use running a marathon for an example. Don't think about how do I run 42 kilometers. Just how would I run 1 kilometer? What do I think about that? Don't get swamped with the big final goal. Just that 1 kilometer, and then once you know how to do that, what's that second milestone? So break it down into small steps, and focus on trying to achieve that first step, because you'll find a solution to that a lot easier than you will to the final step that you need. And on a lot of things I've been involved in, I've also seen that final step isn't needed.
80%, right?
80%, yeah, Pareto. You can get 80% there with 20% of the effort, and often 80%'s more than enough.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, I think that's good tips for our audience today. I hope they liked it. And guys, if you liked it, please share and comment on our podcast. Leave us stars so we know that we started and we're heading the good way to help you be the best leaders you can.
Absolutely. We're taking rocket science out of leadership. If you like it, share, comment. If you've got any questions, feel free to email and ask. We are here to help. So until next time.
Bye-bye.
Adios.